analysis,
reports,
and commentaries on the hour.
In your business interest on IBR 92.5 FM.
your right to know.
It's 6 o'clock. Good evening. Here's the news at 6 on Impact Business Radio, Ibr92.5 FM. The headlines. ECOWAS reaffirms determination to provide humanitarian assistance to victims of conflicts in Nigeria. NYSC to prosecute graduates who showed mobilization after the completion of their studies. Nigerian police force expresses commitment to end criminal activities in the country. In business, Nigeria Export Promotion Council says exported non-oil products worth over $3 billion between 2019-2021. On the foreign scene, Bulgaria expels 10 Russian diplomats on allegations of espionage. Now the news in details. I am Bolabo Fimosko. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has again reaffirmed its determination to provide humanitarian assistance to victims of conflicts in the northwest and northeast part of the country. This is as the community disclosed that it donated $1 million to assist vulnerable families in the country in last year. In a statement today in Abuja, ECOWAS assured that it will continue to collaborate with the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development to provide reliefs to the victims of conflict through its Regional Stabilization Fund. It also called on federal government to work with relevant organizations in order to alleviate food and nutrition needs in Katsina, Zamfara and Benue states. The National Youth Service Corps NYSC says it is working with the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps NSCDC to ensure that graduates who refuse to present themselves for mobilization after the completion of their studies are tired immediately. The Director General of the Corps, Ibr92.5FM, made this known today in Abuja after signing a memorandum of understanding with the NSCDC. Ibrahim said henceforth the NYSC will now prosecute graduates who refuse to present themselves for mobilization for national service after completion of their studies. The Director General noted that the scheme has encountered problems in previous attempts to prosecute violators of its act, maintained that partnership with the NSCDC will help it to put an end to the challenges. He reaffirmed his commitment to ensuring that the scheme achieve its mandate. It will be recalled that the scheme held in 2018 announced that it will sanction employers aiding and abetting the evasion of service and order misconduct among corps members. As the management of the University of Ibadan shuts down the institution due to the extended industrial action embarked upon by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU students have called on stakeholders to save the education sector from total collapse. In a chat with Ibr92.5FM today, they lamented that the industrial action will continue to expose students to indecent activities. The report.
The management of the University of Ibadan has closed down the institution due to the extended industrial action embarked upon by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. The school registrar, Olubumi Falui, made the position of the management known in a special bulletin addressed to the students. According to the communique, students have been asked to vacate the halls of residence with immediate effect. In a move around the institution, Empire News Group observed that academic activities have been paralyzed as few people were seen within the school premises. In his remarks, the secretary to the Student Union Government, Bamdele Taiwo, said students have no reason to stay behind doing nothing in school following the declaration of the strike. He again called on the federal government and the relevant authorities in the education sector to save the system from total collapse.
The major reason why students were asked to vacate is basically students are not doing anything on campus. The teaching staff are on strike. The non-teaching staff are on strike. Even the porters in the hostel that are meant to take care of students and the properties are not on campus. And we know whenever there is no a constituted authority to take charge or take or control the students, some might start behaving and doing things they are not meant to do. So I think the right step is to ask everybody to go home, and when school ask to call off the strike, and ASU, everybody will be on campus and we continue our academic as well. Because basically we are not doing anything and there's no point in staying on campus.
On his part, the public relations officer of the student government, Olalekan Ajibola, said some students have vacated the school premises even before the declaration of the ongoing strike. Ajibola lamented that the incessant strikes is really affecting the students and exposing most of them to indecent activities. He urged the federal government to do everything possible in order to put a stop to the lingering strikes by lecturers.
Basically, there's nothing we are doing on campus, and both the teaching staff, the ASU, and the non-teaching staff, SANO, are on strike, and there's nothing we are doing on campus, and if the students continue to be on campus, there would be additional cost on the school management, and by trying to avoid this, it is better we leave the school premises so that we can, since there's nothing we are doing at home, so that we can minimize that cost. The ASU, their renominations, and they should answer them and put an end to this strike.
However, the management of the institution has announced that a new resumption date will be announced in due course. This is coming after an interaction between the Student Union of the University and the school's chapter of the ASU on how to put an end to the strike.
As I stand here, Nigerian academics are still earning salaries and emolument are depleted on table 2 that government said will last for 6 months in 2009. Did that table, that salary table is what we are earning up to this month. In the seat of government is clear.
Taiwo Olanrewaju, Impact Business Radio News.
In a related development, students of tertiary institutions in Ondo State under the auspices of the National Association of University Students have called on the federal government and ASU to reach a common ground in a bid to end the incessant strike bedeviling the education sector.
This time around, we are not ready to chicken out. as long as they want us to be at home, we prefer to sit down. We prefer to sit down on the road instead of sitting at home, because an idle land is the devil workshop. So instead of us to be idle at home, we prefer to stay on the street and show the government that we are tired.
Take proactive steps towards solving this, because I don't think, with the way things are going, with what I have seen, I don't think Nigerian students are ready to leave the streets if we don't go back to class.
Take as long as the federal government aids to our request that they should end ASUU strike, because this ASUU strike of 18 has been an annual festival and which has been depriving the students from having access to quality and good education. Our calendar in various institutions has changed. A student that want to spend 4 years in university ending up spending 6 to 7 years.
Moving on to security matters, the Nigerian police force has paraded a total of 30 suspects for various crimes ranging on criminal conspiracy, armed robbery, kidnapping, gun running, car theft, banditry, among other crimes. Speaking today in Abuja during the parade of the headquarters of the Special Tactical Squad, the acting public relations officer of the force, Muyiwa Adejobi, said the men of the force also apprehended a car-snatching syndicate who specializes in changing the chassis number of stolen vehicles. Adejobi noted that during their operations, the officers recovered weapons of different assortment, ammunition, bulletproof vests, cash, among other items. He gave the assurance that the force will continue to do everything in its capacity to rid the nation of crime and ensure the safety of the citizenry.
14 cases in all, 30 suspects to be paraded, 21 AK-47 rifles and SMG rifles recovered today, 2,200 live ammunition of various calibers, 14 AK-47 magazines, 10 assorted charged bulletproof vests, cash of 1,880,000 naira, 10 fake number plates, 25 forged chassis numbers, 1 HP laptop, 1 HP printer, 2 Toyota Camry vehicles, 1 Honda Civic. These are the items and suspects in connection with cases of conspiracy.
My name is Ibr92.5FM. I have received like 100 vehicles. I was arrested by Kolo last 3 years ago. So I recovered some cars, but later I could repent. But I was there, then I leave in my business not the punching. So I now come call wrote me now say that he will give me a stolen car. Then somebody come connect me with up and down. The person now they give me a peg chassis number for me to beat police for my way going. So I now send 150,000 for the person. He sent the bill for me. So I was in Jabi to collect it. I was now see a policeman that I know arrested me again. Come back to where I was released before.
That's good. That's intelligence at work. For how long have you been doing this business?
20 years, sir.
20 years. Have you been arrested before?
Since one of Kolo was a officer in Kano.
Kolo is in trouble. Were you sent to prison at any point in time?
It was in car that I stole. That's why I go to prison.
You were actually in prison?
Yes, sir.
The Senate has called on the federal government to declare all known leaders of terrorists wanted. The call was made following a motion considered on the urgent need to stem the increasing spate of kidnappings and insecurity across parts of the country. Moving the motion, Senator Bala Mbem Nahala harped on the urgent need to surmount all kinds of kidnappings, banditry, and related security challenges in Kebbi State. Nahala noted with concern the current rise in security challenges in the state and across the Federation. He further attributed the problem of insecurity to the growing number of out-of-school children, practice of early marriages, and abject poverty in the north, even as he called on the federal government to apply policies to curb the trends.
Our armed forces and security agencies. We have faith in them. And to be honest, they are doing a good job with what we have been able to give. We have not given enough. Some of them die, some are maimed in the process. Even if we are not getting the outcome that we want, we should continue to encourage them and push. We have had series of discussions on security and the need to review the security architecture. We should continue to insist on this until we get the kind of outcome that will safeguard the lives and property of Nigerians.
The stuff that if urgent step is not taken and a decisive action is not taken to curtail this security situation, the situation may further deteriorate into a very huge humanitarian crisis for the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and in particular, the government of Kebbi State, Niger, and neighboring Zamfara. Accordingly, the Senate resolved to call on the federal government and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria to deploy massively the military and other law enforcement agencies to conduct a rigorous operation that will bring an end to the banditry and cattle rustling in the affected area.
Team Oyo, a group of vibrant youth, has called on the people to do the part of the audience to cheer the team to success. This is coming as team attempts to set a new world record of 100 hours for the longest marathon theater performance. They made the call at a media briefing today aimed at raising 1 million people to watch and cheer them.
The vital roles theatrical performance plays by promoting social discourse, dialogue, and social change, even in the current world of social media, digital technology, and screens, has once again come to the fore. This is as Team Oyo, a group of youths, are set to break the 76 hours record for the longest marathon theater performance by a team from May 25 to 29, 2022. Speaking at a media briefing to launch a campaign tagged Team Oyo 1 million fans, the performance director of the group, Nathaniel Adedoyin, said the team is prepared to set a new world record of 100 hours non-stop theater performance to challenge the existing record of 76 hours held by America for the past 8 years, stressing that this will be their second attempt at the contest.
We are attempting to break the Guinness World Record on the longest marathon theater performance by a team. We have started rehearsal since November last year, and because successfully we have finished all the plays that we intend to do, which includes the books of Professor Wole Soyinka and Professor Femi Oshofisan, or all their prose, poetry, and dramas. Like never before, you are going to be seeing all of them staged live and direct here at the Wole Soyinka Theatre Hall here at the University of Ibadan.
While noting that the theater performance, which comprises of established plays, will hold at the University of Ibadan and will be live streamed, Adedoyin called on Nigerians to be part of the contest by watching and cheering the team to victory.
First of all, we need more than 1 million viewership on site and online to cheer us to victory from the 25th of May to the 29th of May. The procedure for registration is why we launched the 1 million fan tag. Now, that tag allows you to see any of our performances during the 5 days that it will be shooting, and it sells only for $1 to the diaspora fans and 500 naira only to fans resident in Nigeria. So for registration, our ticket sales will be at designated points that you will be finding on every of our social media platforms.
Also speaking, the Deputy Director of Culture, Oyo State Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism, Titilayo Lawal, reiterated the ministry's commitment to supporting the team throughout the 5-day event.
Our advice to Team Oyo is for them to really portray what they have in mind and also not to soil the name of Oyo State. And at the same time, we want them to project our cultural heritage to the world over.
On his part, the head of department, Theatre Arts Department, University of Ibadan, Dr. Alphonsus Orisaremi, said the department is prepared to give the necessary support to the team as the contest will call the attention of the government to the theatre industry.
It's not strange that we are buying into it. It's a lofty idea. We have checked the record on the internet and here our students singing, they are in rehearsal. So we also have the manpower. We have the artists in training and we have the artists practicing in the field. So we don't have problem in producing the performance.
Succeeding in holding the longest marathon theatre performance by a team will give Oyo State, Nigeria, and Africa as a whole a global recognition. Ayodele Fakeye, Impact Business Radio News.
Still to come, Kwara State Government expresses readiness to train civil servants for optimum performance. These and more stories shortly after this break.
Look, there's no easier way to say this. Slow internet is bad for business. So, if you want what's best, get the Airtel Smartbox Outdoor Unit for SMEs.
Indeed, do business at internet speed of up to 200 megabytes per second with the Airtel Smartbox Outdoor Unit for SME and enjoy instant access to other amazing offers. Dial 1010 toll-free or send an email to airtelbusiness@ng.airtel.com to get started.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
State government has expressed readiness to train civil servants for optimum performance. Speaking at a one-day workshop organized by the State Council of Nigerian Labour Congress, the State Head of Service, Susan Oluwole, said the training is coming at the right time. She noted that the training will afford labor unions across the state the opportunity of imparting modern knowledge on its members.
It is a clear indication that there must be peaceful coexistence between employers of labor and trade unions. The labor must be sensitive to viability of employer. Equally, the employer must be mindful of the welfare of the employee. Situation demands that we look into issues using contingency approach so as to arrive at an equilibrium that will benefit both parties.
When we expect good results from our leaders at various unions, we should be able to have the kind of results we are expecting from them. Therefore, we have no choice than to enforce your leadership for effectiveness. This is very imperative for upward movement of our union and the Congress. On this, we need to train ourselves last in the latest act and the rudiments of industrial union operations.
In a bid to further expand resident access to lending their voices to government policy and programs, the Osun State government has launched a web platform. Speaking with newsmen, the special advisor to the state government on civic engagement, Olatubosun Onyitiloye, said the platform will bridge the gap between the government and the people and as well strengthen the communication channels for effective interactions. He said the platform will also create an avenue for partnership with multinational corporations and non-governmental organizations who are interested in improving living conditions of rural dwellers. Speaking on the mandate of the agency, Onyitiloye stated that the center will interface with the people across social strata to promote social democratic ideals through inclusive and participatory governance.
Government is about people. We want to be seen as running an inclusive and participatory government. We want people. We want this government to be seen that all of us, in and out of the state, we are stakeholder in government program, in policy formation. We just don't want to create law for people. We want people to be.
I know that in furthering to this website, the whole world, the Osun is now open to the whole world. I'm sure that Osun indigents and citizens, home and in diaspora, will be happy to witness this day that we are witnessing. This is historical. It is something to be remembered for a very long time.
The Nigerian Medical Association has called on the federal government to pay attention to Lassa fever, cholera, malaria, and other diseases affecting the vulnerable. The association also faulted the federal government over its failure to pay the hazard allowance of medical doctors and other healthcare workers. Speaking today at the end of his general meeting in Abuja, the FCT chairman of the association, Enema Amodo, condemned the frequent deaths among medical doctors, especially younger ones, from preventable diseases. While commending the federal government on the availability of COVID-19 vaccines, Amodo expressed deep concern at the less attention being paid to other infectious diseases. He lamented that health workers are now finding it increasingly difficult to get to their places of work to discharge their duties. Amodo urged the government to make use of the universal applicability of the proposed new hazard allowance for health workers irrespective of their point of duties. In business, the Nigerian Export Promotion Council (NEPC) says Nigeria exported non-oil products worth over $3 billion between 2019 and 2021. In a statement today in Owerri, the National Executive Director of the Council, Ezra Yakusak, said non-oil exports have become the only means of economic diversification in the country. He listed some of the non-oil products exported from Imo State between 2016 and 2021 to include egusi ogiri, uziza, bitter cola, and palm kernel shells, among others. It's over now to Oluwayemisi Opodu for more stories.
In business, the Debt Management Office has declared that Nigeria's total public debt stock has increased to over 39.5 trillion naira in 2021 from 32.9 trillion naira in 2020. The Director General of DMO, Patience Oniha, said the total debt includes new borrowings by the federal government and the subnationals. She added that the amount borrowed helped in financing the budget deficit capital projects and support economic recovery. She addressed the concern that the government is borrowing off the future of the unborn generation.
Mortgaging future generations. Some of the things you are enjoying now that were based on loans taken many years ago. Are you not enjoying them? Yes, so the future generation enjoys those roads, they enjoy those airports, they enjoy those rail lines. So if it is in their time that the debt is being serviced, and then after that, we have 35-year loans that we took a while ago. So what I'm saying is these future generations unborn, they will still benefit from those capital projects now. Will the Sukuk roads go away? So what I'm saying essentially, the borrowing for infrastructure benefits the future generation.
In another news, the federal government has said it is working on a code of practice for social media platforms in the country. This, it says, is for the purpose of putting an end to the unbridled use of the platforms. The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Issa Pantami, said there is the need to entrench transparency, law and regulations in social media. He added that in Nigeria, people use the social media to promote rituals, domestic violence, hate speech and other random content without appropriate checks and verifications. That's all we have for you in the business segment for today. I am Oluwayemisi Okpeodu.
Kenny Bamidele is coming up next with stories from the exciting world of sports.
In sport, with just 1 week to Nigeria's all-important Qatar 2022 World Cup first leg qualifying playoff clash against Ghana, the Super Eagles may be without influential midfielder Wilfred Ndidi for their encounter. The 25-year-old sustained a knee injury while in action for Leicester City in yesterday's Europa Conference League game against Rennes at the Roazhon Park. The midfielder who started the second leg hit the turf in the 60th minute after hurting his knee in a clash with Rennes' Gaetan Laborde. Indeed, he was replaced by James Maddison in the 64th minute after a failed attempt to run the injury off, providing a fresh fitness worry for coach Austin Eguavoen ahead of the game scheduled for the Baba Yara Stadium, Kumasi, on 25th of March. The former Genk man is one of the 5 midfielders alongside Frank Oyeka, Joe Aribo, Akinkunmi Amao, and Ogenekaro Etebo listed by Eguavoen for the game. He is expected to undergo some scans later today to ascertain the extent of the injury. And still in the Nigeria-Ghana build-up, according to Spanish publication Estadio Deportivo, Almeria striker Sadiq Umar will not join up with Super Eagles teammate on Monday, 21st of March, after the Spanish club reached an agreement with the Nigeria Football Federation to have the player's arrival delayed. The Eagles are expected to report to their Abuja camp on Monday for their World Cup qualifier double-header against the Black Stars of Ghana. In Europe, in the UEFA Champions League, holders Chelsea will face 13-time winners Real Madrid in the quarter-finals of the Champions League. Manchester City will play Atletico Madrid while Liverpool tackle Benfica and Bayern Munich take on Villarreal. In the semi-finals, the winner of Chelsea vs Real Madrid tie will face Atletico Madrid or Manchester City, while Benfica or Liverpool will play either Villarreal or Bayern Munich. The two-leg quarter-finals take place on 5th and 6th of April and 12th and 13th of April. The first legs of the semi-final will be on the 26th and 27th of April, and the second legs on the 3rd and 4th of May. The Stade de France in Paris will host the final on Saturday, 28th of May, after it was moved from St. Petersburg after Russia's invasion of Ukraine. In the Europa League, West Ham will play Lyon in their first European quarter-final since 1981. Rangers take on Portuguese side Braga, while Eintracht Frankfurt play Barcelona, and RB Leipzig take on Atalanta. And lastly in sport, in Formula 1, Pierre Gasly topped the timesheet for AlphaTauri in the first practice session of the new Formula 1 season, as Lewis Hamilton was only 7th for Mercedes ahead of Sunday's Bahrain Grand Prix. Gasly recorded a 1 hour 34 minutes 193 seconds to lead Ferraris of Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz in the daytime heat of Shakir, while other Mercedes of George Russell was 4th, with world champion Max Verstappen 5th for Red Bull. Drivers will return to the track for the second practice session in the Bahrain evening, when track conditions will be more representative of those the teams will face in Saturday's qualifying and Sunday's race. And that is all we have for you from sport. I am Kenny Bamidele. Good evening.
The news was produced and edited by Mary Ojo. I am Golabo Fimosko. Good evening.
News,
analysis,
reports,
and commentaries on the hour
in your business interest